Hi folks, Kevin here. Well, it's February 18th, 2018, and today I want to talk about the leading causes of death in the United States. What's killing us? And first off, context does matter. Why does it matter? Well, we can't really appreciate an issue or a potential risk until we understand the context of that problem or issue. So, why are Americans dying? We're going to go through some graphs from the CDC. We're going to look at what are the odds of dying from various diseases, at least get some scale of reference. And the good news is we can at least prevent or reduce many of the leading causes of death and chronic illness in the United States. So let's review the 15 leading causes of death in 2015, according to the CDC. Number one on the list was cardiovascular disease, cancer, lower respiratory disease, accidents, strokes, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes mellitus, influenza and pneumonia, kidney disease, intentional self-harm, septicemia, chronic liver disease and cirrhosis, hypertension, high blood pressure, Parkinson's disease, and pneumonitis. That's an inflammatory condition of the lower respiratory system that's not due to infectious causes. So let's cut that down to just the top 10 reported in 2015. And what's the numbers? 633,000 people died of heart disease. Almost 600,000 people died of cancer. Chronic lower respiratory disease, 155,000. Accidents, 146,000. Strokes, 140,000. Alzheimer's disease, 110,000. Diabetes, 79,000. Influenza and pneumonia, 57,000. Kidney disease, almost 50,000. Suicide, 44,000 cases were reported in 2015. I know I've rounded those numbers off a bit, but at least to give you an idea of how things were ranked in 2015 according to the CDC. So let's look at the number of deaths per day reported in 2015. So 1,736 people died of heart disease in 2015, each day. Cancer, 1,632 people died each day as a result of cancer in 2015. Chronic lower respiratory disease, 424 people died each day in 2015 on average. This is all on average. Unintentional injuries, accidents that cause death, 401 people died per day. Strokes, 384 people died per day. Alzheimer's disease, 302 people died a day. Diabetes, 217 people died a day. Influenza and pneumonia, 156 people died each day. Kidney disease, 136 died each day. And intentional self-harm, suicide, 121 people took their lives each day in 2015. I'm leaving the website references below each one of these slides so that you can review them. What about all homicides, and this is also reported by the CDC. There were 43 homicides per day in the United States in 2015. What about homicides due to firearms? 30 people died due to firearms each day on average in the United States. Now look at this chart. I wanted to bring in terrorism because we are always so concerned. It seems to be one of those big topics on the media, but I wanted to put things in perspective. Context really does matter. So here we are. Now these are terrorist attacks or terrorist incidents. So beginning back in 1995 and ending up here in 2016. So on average, well, basically there were 616 total acts of terrorism over the 21-year period. And that results in 30 terrorist acts per year on average over the last 21 years. Now let's look at another chart. This is from the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, the START program. And I believe this is initiated by the Homeland Defense branch of government. So if we look down this third column here, we can see U.S. fatalities in the United States. In 1995, there were 171 Americans died as a result of terrorist act. And again, in September 11th, 2001, we know that 2,908 U.S. citizens died because of terrorist act. And down here at the bottom of that column, we can see a total over those 19 years with 3,158. That's on average 166 U.S. citizens died per year as a result of terrorist acts. However, that's less than one U.S. citizen dying every 2 days. It doesn't demean the shock and terror of people dying from terrorist acts, not at all. However, when we're doing a risk assessment, I think it's valuable to look at all of these parameters. Here's a risk assessment that's from the United Kingdom. So the big yellow or orangish yellow color here is heart disease, cancer, respiratory disease, and so on, all the way down, and here's terrorism right here. So it's almost like looking at the size of the moon compared to the size of the sun. The greater the risk is, the larger the dot here. Now, this was the United Kingdom, and I searched pretty hard trying to get a risk assessment image for the United States. And so this was the National Safety Council there. What are your odds of dying chart? This big yellow dot here, this is heart disease and cancer. This is chronic respiratory disease. This is 1 in, I think it's 191 or 161,000 is the odds of dying from a lightning strike, where your odds are 1 in 7, according to the National Safety Council, of dying from heart disease or cancer. So I think it's really wise for us if to really look at the relative risks of injury, death, chronic illness, things that are going to profoundly affect our lives. And certainly if you're involved in a gun-related incident like has recently been on the news, that is something that really needs to be addressed as well. Terrorism, all things like that need to be addressed. However, I think it's wise for us to look at the leading cause of death that we face in the United States and take those top tier causes and see if we can reduce them as much as possible. So, oops, hold on, there's something missing here. Unfortunately, the way that things are calculated, now, so here we are back with heart disease being 633,000, almost 634,000 cases a year. This is 2015 again. And we see cancer, nearly 600,000 cases a year being caused by cancer. Now, what's this? The doctors. That's interesting. So that skips everything else down, the ones that we cause. So there's some number missing there. Somehow we're going to have to look at how we missed one of the leading causes, the third leading cause in the United States of dying. We missed that particular one. How did we do that? Well, actually, doctors are the third leading cause of death in the United States. Let's see some of the evidence. The website here is down below, and I'm going to play a video now from Dr. Greger, and let's have a listen to that, and then I'll be right back after that.
Yes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, but a pound isn't that heavy. Why change our diet and lifestyle? We can just wait and let modern medicine fix us up. Previously, I noted that patients tend to wildly overestimate the ability of cancer screening and drugs like cholesterol-lowering medications to prevent disease. So much so that if patients were told the truth, how little they'd actually benefit, 90% said they wouldn't even bother taking them. The reason we should eat healthier rather than just counting on a medical techno-fix is that the same overconfidence may exist for treatment too. In a massive study of more than 200,000 trials, they discovered that yes, pills and procedures can certainly help, but genuine, very large effects with extensive support from substantial evidence appear to be rare in medicine. And large benefits for mortality, making people live significantly longer, almost entirely non-existent. Right? We're great for broken bones and curing infections, but for chronic disease, our leading cause of death and disability, modern medicine doesn't have much to offer, and in fact can sometimes do more harm than good. In my Uprooting the Leading Cause of Death talk, I noted that side effects from prescription drugs kill an estimated 100,000 Americans every year, in effect making medical care the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. But that's just for the deaths from taking medications as prescribed. Another 7,000 deaths occur from getting the wrong medication by mistake. 20,000 deaths from other errors in hospitals. Hospitals are dangerous places. An additional 80,000 of us die from hospital-acquired infections, more recently estimated at 99,000 deaths. But can you really blame doctors for these deaths? You can when they don't wash their hands. We've known since the 1840s that the best way to prevent hospital-acquired infections is through hand washing, yet compliance rates among healthcare workers rarely exceeds 50%, and doctors are the worst. Even in a medical intensive care unit, even if you slap up a contact precaution sign signaling particularly high risk, less than a quarter of doctors wash their hands. Many physicians greeted the horrendous mortality data due to medical error with disbelief, and concerned that the information would undermine public trust. But if doctors still won't even wash their hands, how much trust do we deserve? So you could go in for a simple operation and come out with a life-threatening infection, or not come out at all. And 12,000 die from surgeries that were unnecessary in the first place. For those keeping score, that's 225,000 people dead from iatrogenic causes, meaning death by doctor, death by medical care. And that's mostly just for patients in a hospital. In an outpatient setting, adverse effects can send millions to the hospital and result in perhaps 199,000 additional deaths. And this is not including all those just non-fatally injured, like, oops, we accidentally amputated the tip of your penis. And these estimates are on the low end. The Institute of Medicine estimated that deaths from medical errors may kill up to 98,000 Americans. That would bump us up to 284,000 dead. But even if we stick to the lower estimate, the medical profession constitutes the third leading cause of death in the United States. It goes heart disease, cancer, then me. One respondent pointed out that it was misleading to call medicine the third leading cause of death, since many of those we kill also had heart disease or cancer. Doctors aren't out there, gunning down healthy people. Only people on medications are killed by medication errors or side effects, right? You have to be in a hospital to be killed by a hospital error. Exactly. Right? That's why lifestyle medicine is so important, because the most common reasons people are on drugs or in hospitals is for diseases that can be prevented with a healthy diet and lifestyle, as I've covered before. Right? The best way to avoid the adverse effects of medical care is to not get sick in the first place.
Well, I'm back now. I hope that that video presentation by Dr. Greger was of value to you. My hopes were to help to put things in perspective, with the goal of looking at, and this review slide just summarize, in a sense, the things that Dr. Greger just brought up in that video. And I just wanted to highlight those things so you can look at them and see them right in front of you. And my goal here is for us to all become more aware of those things that are potentially going to affect us and our loved ones. Those things that are going to cause chronic illness and certainly cause an early death. They're also going to decrease our quality of life, and they add to our expenses. When a family member goes into the hospital as they get older, that puts a burden on everyone else. When we die, it puts a burden on us all. And we certainly all want to enjoy as good a quality life as possible for as long as possible. So I thought it was important to share this information. I don't believe that there was any intentional cover-up as far as not disclosing that doctors are the third leading cause of death. Doctors are not bad. They're not intentionally doing this. They're not just haphazardly going about their days and not paying attention to what they're doing. Our system just isn't set up where we're going to be the most effective. And the first step of this is reducing the number of cases that are having to go to the hospital, the urgent care. It's about focusing on preventative medicine. So I hope this video was somewhat enlightening and helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give it a thumbs up if you think it was of value. Share it with your friends. And by all means, feel free to leave comments and ask questions. I really appreciate your time and your comments. Thanks so much and have a great day, folks. Bye-bye now.